Welcome everyone. My name is Rosa Villegas. I'm one of the advisors here in the International Student Center. I have some of my co-workers here with us this afternoon, and today's presentation is Can International Students Work? And you're going to be learning how you can work as an international student. So Jenny, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is Jenny. I'm the Administrative Assistant for International International Center.
Thank you. Kim?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kim Basadre, and I'm one of the professional experts here at International Student Center.
Thank you. Anissa? Okay, Anissa may be joining us shortly because she was driving. So welcome, everyone. I'll have her introduced later, but Anissa is one of the pathway coaches. So some of you may know her already because she's working with you if you're part of the pathways. So welcome everyone. Again, my name is Rosa Villegas and I'm one of the advisors here in the office. So all of us are going to be presenting and if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. You can do it during the presentation. We'll have time at the end of the presentation. Or you can also type it in the chat and we will address your questions as they come along. So again, thank you for being here and we really appreciate your time. So today's agenda is gonna cover the benefits of employment, how to qualify for employment, the types of employment allowed for international students, and a brief explanation of each type of employment. So just to give you some information, employment is one of the benefits that all of you have with your student visa, with the F1 visa. So many of you may not be aware that you're eligible to work. So that's why you're here to learn about it. And we hope that you gain valuable information in today's presentation. And you will be thinking, but why do I want to work? I'm here to study. I want to focus on my study. I want to get my degree and move on. But there are plenty of benefits as to why, if you're interested in working, why should you work? Obviously, it will be up to you if you want to work. It's not a requirement of your visa, so it's a benefit that you have. And one of the reasons why you may want to consider working if you're interested is because you're going to meet other students aside from your classmates. You're going to meet other faculty members and you're going to meet community members. So for example, if you're working on campus as a tutor, you may be meeting some of your other classmates, or you may be meeting other students who are taking a particular class or subject that you're tutoring. So you start networking and making connections with other members of the community college. You're obviously gonna gain work experience. Some of you may have work in your countries, but working here in the US may be a little bit different, depending on the type of work, or it's just getting used to the environment here in the US. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to be gaining some social and professional networking. You're going to be talking to a lot more people, not only school related, but you may find interests that you have between the other people. You may find a coworker that has the same hobby like you, for example. Like if you like hiking, like Jenny, for example, then you're gonna maybe like on the weekend plan a hiking with the two of you or three of you or whatever. So you're gonna be networking and meeting more people. And of course, you're gonna build up your resume so that when you finish your degree here at PCC, you can add it to your resume. You're not only adding your academic degree that you earn, but you also adding more work experience. So don't think that, oh, but I'm just doing a student worker position. That's not important. It is important because it's giving you the experience and skills necessary to move up and find a different job later on. So those are the benefits that you can get by working as a student. And then you're gonna thinking, but I'm here and I already applied for my visa. How do I qualify for work? So the fact that you are here in this workshop, most likely, well, all of you are already eligible to work because you are in F1 status and you're maintaining your F1 regulations. So that's one of the conditions to qualify for work as an F1 student. Something to remember and to keep in mind that although working is a benefit of your student visa, you must request authorization before you start working. So any type of employment that you do with your student visa will require approval. Once you're approved for the F1 employment, you are still required to maintain all the regulations. So you might still follow all of your regulations. For example, enroll in full-time every spring and fall semester, and continue to keep in touch with their office so that you know that you're in good standing and in good status. So don't think, oh, well, I already got approved for work. Don't distract yourself from just working and don't pay attention to your studies. So continue to maintain your F1 status. And something to keep in mind is that there are different types of employments that we're going to discuss a little bit later on in the presentation. But each type of employment will have a specific requirements and eligibility. So some type of employment that you do may be you to get approved, what other type of employment may require additional steps to get approved or even an application fee. So let's continue. Do we have any questions? Let me know if I'm going too fast. I want to make sure that you understand all the material that is being presented today. So we talk about types of employment. So there are 3 types for the most part that international students are eligible to apply. The first one and the easiest one to get approved is on-campus employment. What that means is on campus is you can work anywhere on campus here at PCC as long as you're supporting the department, the students, the service that you do is related to students. So for example, you may think the bookstore doesn't belong to the PCC because it's an outside company that is here on campus. But the service that you're providing is to support the students at PCC. So yes, you're eligible to work at the bookstore. And we're gonna talk about how you can get approved to work on campus. The other words that you may hear is CPT. CPT stands for Curricular Practical Training. As we move along, you'll notice that the type of employment will require a little bit more steps and tasks to get approved. So when I talk about CPT, Curricular Practical Training, that type of employment, it can be inside campus or outside campus. So then I will tell you how you can apply for the CPT. And then the third type of employment is optional practical training or OPT. OPT is very similar in some ways to CPT. In a way, you can do it in campus or off campus. So again, this one, because when you hear about OPT, you're gonna see that it's a little bit more steps to get approved. And we will have some presentations specifically for CPT and OPT. So make sure you're writing down your questions and you can ask them today or you can ask them later on during the next presentations for CPT and OPT.
Rosa, there's just a question from the previous slide. So a student asked, does this apply to internships as well?
Correct. Very good question. So internships usually fall under the category of CPT, curricular practical training. So I will strongly recommend that if you're interested in internships, especially because summer is coming up and a lot of students do apply for summer internships, I will recommend that you attend our workshop for CPT, which will be March 1st, which says Tuesday. I will put the flyer in the chat shortly. But yes, internships will qualify under CPT and you will need approval for that. So our first type of employment that, like I said, is the easiest to get approved is on-campus employment. And you'll be saying, well, what does that mean, on-campus employment? What it means is that you're going to be working on campus, like I said earlier, and our campus is either the main campus or some of you in the health programs may be taking classes at the Community Education Center, CEC, and you can also work there. So to be eligible to apply for on-campus employment, you must be in valid F1 status. Like I said, all of you here attending this presentation today are already eligible to apply for on-campus employment. You must be enrolled full-time, so 12 units or more during the spring and fall. Summer is not required. So remember, if you don't want to take a summer class, but you do get a job, you can still work because you plan to register for the fall semester. So for those of you who are interested in working during the summer, maybe you want to start looking for jobs right now. You can start the process early. You can tell the department, I'm looking for a job, I'm considering working during summer, or if you get hired right now and they allow you to continue working during the summer, then that would be great. Because during summer, you can work even if you're not registered for classes. During for on-campus employment, you're limited to 20 hours part-time. So you cannot go over 20 hours during the fall and spring. But like I was saying earlier, during the summer, if the department hires you and they have 25 hours, 30 hours per week, you can take advantage of it and work more than 20 hours during the summer. So depending on the department, or you can work for multiple departments. So let's say you got hired as a student tutor in the math center, but they say, well, I'm sorry, Kim, we only have 10 hours. Do you want to take them? And Kim says, yes, I'll take 10 hours. But you continue looking and then you find a job at the library and the library says, oh, we have 10 hours. Then you're going to be working at 2 departments. As long as you don't go over the 20 hours per week during fall and spring, you're okay. During summer, like I said, it doesn't matter. You can do as many hours as you can find or the department offers you. And how do you apply? So you know you're interested in working on campus. So how do you apply? The first step is to find a job. Unfortunately, here at PCC, we don't have a central location where the student worker positions are posted. So we're gonna suggest that you go from department to department and inquire about student worker positions. So you can go to the library, you can go to the bookstore, you can go to any of the success centers or any department within the campus to ask if they're hiring a student worker. If the department, let's say the English department says, yes, I'm hiring student workers, they have to give you a job offer letter. They have to say, Anissa, we're hiring you as an English tutor for the spring semester, something like that. The department will know how to write the letter, but you gotta make sure you receive a job offer letter. Then step number 3, you're gonna come into the international office and either come in person or email us, and you're gonna request our office for approval, for on-campus approval, on-campus employment approval, and we will issue you the letter to support you to apply for your social security number. So here in the US, any student who's working or any individual who's working needs a social security number to get paid. So our office will give you the support letter stating that you as an international student is eligible to apply for a social security number because you're eligible to work. After you receive our letter, then it's your turn to go apply for your social security number. To apply for the social security number, there is an application that you need to complete, and you need to find the closest social security office where you live. You're gonna take the two letters, our letter from the International Student Center office, and the job offer letter from your department with your immigration documents, your I-20, your passport, your passport with your visa, your F1 visa, to apply for the number. And once you receive your social security number, then you're ready to complete your paperwork with our human resources office and with the department that hires you to work. So as you can see, there are a few steps that need to be completed. So it takes a little bit of time, maybe a couple weeks for that process before you can get working. So that's why I was saying, some of you who are interested in working, make sure you plan ahead and start looking at the departments right now. Any questions about on-campus employment?
So there's a question in the chat. And the question is, unpaid work on campus is still need to be approved?
Unpaid? That's a very good question. I'm glad that you're all asking questions. Make sure when you do it unpaid, if it's volunteer work, you do not need to get approval. But you gotta be very careful because it's a very thin line that you may cross if it's unpaid or volunteer or paid work. And the way we kind of make a distinction is if that type of work that you're going to be doing, typically and usually somebody gets paid for that job, that is not really volunteer or unpaid job, because somebody usually gets paid for that job. So unpaid or volunteer work is something like feeding the homeless or going to the library and reading to children. That's volunteer unpaid work because you're not getting anything in return. You're donating your time, offering your expertise. If it's totally unpaid and nobody has done that job prior to you taking on that job that got paid, then it's okay. You don't need approval because it's kind of volunteer, but make sure you don't cross the line. If somebody tells you in that department, well, we can hire you, but it's unpaid, but you know somebody got paid for doing that job prior to you being there, and it's not really unpaid job. And we don't want any department to take advantage of you. So make sure you know the distinction between unpaid job. So be careful. If you know it's truly unpaid because no one has done that job before that got paid, then by all means, go ahead and do it. It might be good experience for you and something that you can put on your resume. But don't cross the line of, we don't want people to take advantage of you. If they say, well, we need you to come in and do this for us, but then another person is doing the same job that they're asking you to do, and the other person is getting paid, that you shouldn't do it.
Thank you for that, Rosa. Another question is, I already have a social security number. Would I just need the job offer letter?
That is correct. Very good question. Yes. Some of you may already have a social security number because you already work in the US, either got it here in a PCC or if you transfer from another school. So once you have a social security number, you don't need to apply for a new one every time you get a new job. So you can let your advisor let me know, oh, I got hired by the library. And you can just complete the paperwork with that department and with HR because you already have your social number. Good questions.
And Rosa, there is the social security number request form. Where's that form?
It's just the letter request under the forms. They all just complete the letter request and give us the letter request with the copy of the job offer letter. That way we as the advisors know that the student needs the letter for social security application. So how do you search for on-campus jobs? Like I say, we don't have a central place, but we always recommend, if you don't have a resume, make sure you create one. It helps because you may go to the department, you may go to the transfer center and ask if they're hiring. They may say not right now, but if you have your resume, you can leave your resume with the department and say, well, here's my resume. I'm interested in working. If you have any openings later on, here's my resume. You can contact me. And you're thinking, well, I don't have a resume because I don't have any skills. How do I create one? I have never worked. A very good place for you to get started is the Freeman Career Center. For those of you that don't know where it is, they are located in the IT building, Office 200. They're by the bookstore on the second level, and you'll see it. They're a very good resource for those of you who are interested in working because they have workshops about how to interview, how to create a resume. And every now and then they may have information about postings either on campus, and they do have internship information. So I know that Freeman Career Center sends a weekly newsletter. So I will encourage all of you. I know we get a lot of emails from all over the campus, but I will encourage you when you get the Freeman Career Center emails, take a look at it because they do offer the internship information. Sometimes they have internships that are available for students. So you could see if it meets the requirement for you to apply as an international student. And also they have many workshops that will be helpful if you're interested in working. So to find a job, like I said, make sure you're contacting the different departments, pathways, transfer center. I think even the admissions and records has student workers. The library was hiring a couple of weeks ago. So always check our newsletter. That's also where we post job openings if we are aware of them. But basically, you're going to be going from department to department to find a job on campus. If we don't have any more questions, we're gonna move on to CPT. So CPT is curricular practical training, but you're gonna hear us saying CPT a lot. That's for short, but at least now you know what it means. So what is CPT? CPT is a training opportunity for international students. So all of you, again, may be already eligible to apply or will be soon. It's a work study practice, and somebody earlier asked about internships. So CPT will allow you to do internships, and the internship can either be paid or unpaid. But remember, I said at the beginning of the presentation, employment needs approved. So if you are doing an internship, then you will need approval under CPT. Something that you will remember and that I want you to take away from this presentation is that the type of employment under CPT has to be related to your major. So Anissa is a business major, and she comes in and she says, Rosa, I got an internship as in a hospital. I'm like, oh, great, congratulations. What are you going to be doing in the hospital? And she says, well, they want me to help the nurse. I'm like, well, that's not related to your business major. So unfortunately, we cannot approve it. So remember, the internship must be related to your major. And the good thing about CPT is that it only needs approval from the International Student Center advisor. So you don't need to go to extensive lengths to get approved. And I will show you later what the difference is between CPT and OPT. So CPT, it is a little bit more steps than on-campus employment, but not as many as OPT. So CPT, we put it in the middle because you need approval, you need to follow some steps, and there's some more requirements, but not as many as OPT. When you apply for CPT, you can work either full-time or part-time. When it's during the full semesters, again, you can only do it part-time, but during the break, you can do it full-time. And what are the requirements? So one of the requirements is that you must be enrolled at an approved school on a full-time basis for at least one academic year. So remember, on-campus employment, you can start right away when you first enter the US with your F1 visa and you enroll full-time. For CPT, you have to wait 1 year. So for those of you who started this spring, for example, you're not eligible to apply for CPT until the fall semester. Well, not the fall, after you finish fall semester, because you have to complete one academic year. So spring and fall will be you one academic year. Then you're eligible to apply for CPT next spring. CPT can be full-time or part-time, but if you do any time, for example, if during the summer you find an internship and you want to do it full-time, it's okay to do it. But for those of you who are considering applying for OPT after you earn your associate degree, then it will affect the time that you do for OPT. For CPT, you need to have a job offer letter before applying. So again, if you're interested in doing CPT and you do meet that 1 year requirement and you want to do it in summer, you may want to start looking for the internship now so that you can get your job offer letter. And to apply for CPT, you must either be enrolled in a class that requires you to do field work or internship. For example, our paralegal program one of the classes requires students to do so many hours of field work because the program wants you to go practice while you're learning in the classes. So then that's considered a major class that requires you to do field work, then you're gonna apply for CPT. But let's say, so you just enroll in the class and then you follow the process to get approved. But let's say you're a computer science major. None of your classes in the catalog says you have to do field work or internships. That's okay. You can still apply for CPT. You're just going to be required to enroll for an internship class. So that's an extra step that you will do. So if you're interested in CPT and your major does not have any classes that require field work or internships, then you're going to do the internship class. And we currently have 2 classes, which is internship for paid business 0708, which is a paid internship class, or business 070B, which is an unpaid internship class. So depending on the type of internship that you get, that's when you're going to determine which class you're going to be eligible to enroll.
Rosa, there's a question. So for example, what if Anissa, who is the business major, got an internship at the hospital, but in the HR department instead of nursing position? Is it considered eligible?
Anissa, I would say as long as you can connect the duties that you're performing to your business classes or your business related major, it could possibly work, because it may be that you may be doing an analysis of work hours versus pay, or you may be supervising student workers. So then you can connect it and relate it to business. There has to be a clear relationship. Like if you're doubting yourself, like, I don't know if it's connected, then it will probably not be okay. But if you can say, Rosa, I am business major, I'm working at the hospital, but I'm gonna be, like you're saying, working in the HR office. Well, what are you doing in the HR office? That's gonna be the key question. Can you connect your assignments, your projects with business? Then it could possibly work. Okay, because if we get audited or the student gets audited by the government, they want to know how can you connect your internship with your major. If you're able to explain it logically and you have proof, like make sure you, I recommend students, make sure you keep your job offer letter that lists what you will assignments be doing, or the internship, usually they have descriptions of what the individual is supposed to be doing. Then if you can connect, or they have keywords that are business that you took in your business class that you can connect it, then definitely it will be okay. Okay, so how do you apply for CPT? So the first thing is start looking for a job, start looking for an internship, get your job offer letter. Then for CPT, you either need to be enrolled, like I was saying, in the internship class or the major class that requires field work. And some of the classes here at PCC, some of the majors will clearly say student needs to do 160 hours of field work, 100 hours of clinical studies, for example, for our nursing students. All of our nursing students need to be approved for CPT, because at one point in their program, some of their classes require clinicals, usually every semester. So if you're in the nursing program, you're gonna be registering a class that requires clinicals or field work, then you're gonna need an approval for CPT. After you enroll in the class, then you're gonna need to meet with the academic counselor to complete and sign the CPT recommendation. All these forms are on our website, and at the end of the presentation, we have the link for the forms. After you receive the recommendation from the counselor, then you submit the form with the job offer letter to our office, to your assigned advisor, either myself, Michael, or Kathy when she's here. Then in return, we're gonna say, okay, you're approved. After we review your documents, we're gonna say, okay, you're approved. We are gonna issue a new I-20, and on the second page, it has the CPT approval. That's when you know you can start working. So even though you got your job offer letter in, let's say you got it in early February, but you didn't go through the steps, you can now work until you get approval from the international office, and the approval will be in the way of your I-20. If you need a social security number, because this is a paid internship and you don't have one, then you need to apply for your social security number first. But if you already have one, then you don't need to, then you can just go ahead and get started. If it's an unpaid internship, obviously you don't need a social security number, so you can get started as soon as we give you the, and we usually are pretty good about sending an email and saying, we process your request, you're approved for CPT, your I-20 is ready. Then you know that day you can start working. Any questions about CPT? And again, this is just a general overview about CPT because we have the CPT workshop coming up in which we're going to go in more details, like how do I enroll in the internship class? We're going to talk about it in more details in the CPT workshop. Then let's move on to OPT. So OPT stands for Optional Practical Training. And what is OPT? So it's, like I was saying, very similar to CPT. It's a temporary training opportunity for international students with the F1 visa. Same as CPT, it must be directly related to your major. So the government is giving this employment opportunities to students because it's thinking, okay, well, you're here studying our programs, why not practice what you're learning? So if you're studying nursing, make sure you practicing your nursing studies if you want to do OPT. But if you're child development major, again, you're not going to go work at Target as a cashier because you're a child development major. So you have to find school where you're working with your little kids, maybe you being a teacher assistant, that's going to be directly to your major. There is no question about it. You're working at a school as a teacher assistant, you're practicing your child development major. OPT is available before you earn your associate degree here at PCC or after. If you are applying before you earn your associate degree, it's called pre-completion OPT because you're still working on your degree, but you're also working as a worker or employer. So if you want to wait and you apply for OPT after you graduate, after you earn your associate degree, then that's called post-completion OPT. And again, we'll go more details in the OPT workshop. The big difference here is that we in the international office can recommend students for OPT if they meet the requirements, but it is the government agency called USCIS that approves the application for OPT. So it will not be our office that approves the OPT. And because it's an outside agency that processes the OPT application, then it requires a little bit more time to process. So planning ahead, it's a very good tip.
Rosa, question. How does OPT work for students who aim to transfer?
Who are
Yeah, who aim to transfer.
So for students who want to transfer, very good question. If you're earning an associate degree here at PCC, you are eligible to apply for post-completion OPT. If you want to do it after you finish your degree, you can apply for up to 1 year. Finish your associate degree, apply for OPT for 1 year, work for 1 year, and then transfer to the university to get your bachelor degree, and then apply once again for OPT. So students can apply for OPT once per degree level as long as they're moving up. So associate degree, OPT, bachelor degree, OPT, master degree, OPT. Does that answer your question?
The student said yes. Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you. What are the requirements to apply for OPT? So again, you must have been enrolled in an approved school. So PCC is approved by the government to allow international students with the F1 visa to enroll here. So you must have been enrolled for at least 1 academic year. For post-completion OPT, you must earn an associate degree. So if you're computer science, you're getting your associate degree this spring, you're graduating this spring, then right now is the perfect timing to apply for OPT because you're earning your degree at the end of the spring. You can already apply for post-completion OPT. Again, when you collect all your paperwork, because this application will require more paperwork, then you collect your paperwork, you can meet with us, the advisors, we can review it. If it's complete, we will issue the OPT I-20 so that you are eligible to apply with USCIS. OPT is authorized once per a year for each educational level. Like I was saying earlier, if you plan to transfer, some students transfer immediately after finishing here at PCC, but some students want some work experience. So they may decide to apply for OPT. And that's where I was saying some students do associate degree, OPT, then transfer to earn the bachelor degree, then OPT again. It's your choice. It's an opportunity, but some students rather finish academics first with whatever works for you as the student. Post-completion OPT after you earn your degree must be full-time. So you can work more than 20 hours and there's no limit. So if you're an overachiever and you have a company that's giving you overtime and they give you more than 40 hours, go ahead and make all the money that you can. It's for 1 year and you can work for many companies at the same time. You can work out of state if you choose to. If you want to move to New York, you can do that. But like I was saying earlier, because our office does not approve the OPT, is USCIS, they require more time. So we always encourage students to apply early. You can apply 90 days before you graduate. So that's why I was saying right now is the time to apply for post-completion OPT.
We have a question, Rosa. The student is curious about, if they want to work on the library but don't have any work experience or resume, can they still work?
As long as the library gives you the opportunity, yes. So your job right now is to go ask the library, are you still hiring? And can I work? Most likely they will give you an interview if they're still hiring or they Sometimes it's okay not to have experience because you may not have experience working in the library, but you have computer skills that they may need. You may have writing skills that they may need. So although you don't have work experience in the library, you have other skills that can be useful for them. So I will encourage just to apply. But at the same time, you could start building your resume. You can go to the Freeman Career Center and build up your resume so that, like I was saying, if they don't have opening right now, you can leave your resume and you can list all your skills that you have so that the departments know what can you do for them.
Thank you. Another question is, if I choose post-completion OPT after getting associate and bachelor degree, does that mean I am eligible to work two consecutive years?
Very good question. So when you finish associate degree here at PCC, in whatever major you have, you can only apply for 1 year of OPT. However, if you transfer to the university and you are in a STEM major, science, technology, then at the university level, you may extend your OPT for longer. So at the associate degree level, it's only 1 year. When you finish your bachelor degree level, it may be longer if you're in a STEM major. But you cannot say, well, I didn't do OPT when I finished associate degree. I'm a business major. I'm gonna earn my bachelor degree in business. I'm gonna do 2 years because I didn't do 1 year at the associate level. It doesn't work that way. If you didn't use it at the associate level, you lost it. You cannot say, I want to combine it with my bachelor degree associate. How do you apply for post-completion OPT? And I'm focusing on post-completion OPT because the majority of our students do post-completion. If you're interested in pre-completion, you can schedule an appointment with us. The steps are pretty similar, but then just 1 or 2 differences. But we can talk about it if you're interested in pre-completion. So the first step is making sure that you are earning an associate degree. And the way of doing that is you need to meet with the academic counselor, one of our wonderful academic counselors. You can file for your graduation petition with them, and they can also complete and sign the OPT recommendation form because they're testifying to us that you're getting your associate degree. You're gonna prepare the documents, and it's a long list. It's documents you already have, but you need to prepare the copies. And again, we're gonna have the OPT workshop, so we're gonna detail all the documents that you need to prepare. Once you have all your documents, you can either schedule an appointment with us or you can email us your documents and let us know that you're interested in applying for OPT. If we review the documents and everything is complete, we're gonna issue the OPT I-20. OPT is always listed on the second page of the I-20. After you receive the I-20 from our office, from one of us, then you're ready to submit your application. And luckily, USCIS opened the application online last year, which saves a lot of time, and it's very easy to complete online. And then you're gonna wait for your decision. So again, because it's an outside government offices, the average time is like 3 to 5 months. So the earlier you apply, the better. Recently, we've seen a change. Some students got approved in a month or 2, but we don't know what happened. So we have no control. That's why we encourage students to apply early if you can. So we talk a lot about CPT and OPT. This chart kind of shows you a little bit of the differences when we compare CPT and OPT. So do I need a secure job before applying? For CPT you do, but not for OPT. So OPT, you can start the process, apply, and you can worry about finding a job later on. How long does it take? CPT only needs approval from the International Student Center advisors. So we usually are pretty good. And as long as we have all the documents on the request, we say 7 to 10 business days. OPT, once you submit your application online, it could take anywhere from 3 to 5 months. Like I said, recently we saw one approved in a month, but it was off season. Usually spring is when a lot of students apply, so it could take longer. And we have no control, so I can't tell you for sure how long it will be. Is there an application fee? Not for CPT. However, there is one for OPT. Currently is $410. Who authorizes the employment? CPT, it's only the International Student Center advisor. OPT is going to be USCIS. How many hours can I work? For CPT during summer, you can work more than 20 hours. However, during spring and fall, you can only work 20 hours or less, which is part-time. For OPT, post-completion OPT, it's full-time. 20 hours or more is considered full-time, but 40 hours is ideally the full-time. Maximum time that you can do CPT, there is no limit. However, it needs to be approved each semester, because remember we say it's connected to the class that you enroll. So you enroll for the class each semester. So you can do it multiple semester, but it has to be approved each semester. Post completion OPT, it's approved for 1 year. Oh.
So Rosa, there's a question. What do students do if they want to work in the US beyond 1 year time period of the OPT?
I'm sorry, can you, if they want to work 1 year?
What do the students do if they want to work in the US beyond 1 year time of the OPT?
More than 1 year?
Mm.
Well, good question. Once you finish your associate degree, you can apply for post-completion OPT, work 1 year. If you transfer to the university and you're in a STEM major, then it can be extended more than a year. But if you're not a STEM major, there is no way to extend for more than a year.
And also, would you give some suggestion on how to fill out time to start the OPT program appropriately?
Okay. So for OPT, post-completion OPT, you can start applying 90 days before graduation day. So for spring, for example, graduation or last day of semester is May 8. So you count 90 days before. That's why we say the application window is already open. So if you graduate in this spring, you can already start applying. And the OPT workshop will be March the 3rd, but we do have the handout on our website. And if you're interested, you can email me and I can send you the recorded workshop from the last semester so you can start preparing. But right now is the perfect timing to start applying if you are graduating this spring. Some of the terms that I've used during the presentation, just so you know, DSO means designated school official. And that will be Michael Jones. Some of you know him because he's your advisor. Kathy Chen and myself. All three of us are educational advisors and we are DSO. That means the government authorizes us to use the software and issue I-20s. USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. This is the office that's going to process your OPT application and give you that work permit once they approve your application. DHS is an agency that we work with, Department of Homeland Security. EAD is the Employment Authorization Document. This is what you want to get when you're approved for OPT. This is your work permit. SCBP, Student and Exchange Visitor Program. This is a website that you can visit that has a lot of resources regarding F1 students. CVIS, Student and Exchange Visitor Information Services. This is the platform that we use to issue the I-20s. So students don't have access to CVIS, only the schools. And of course, all of you know that Form I-20, this is the 3-page document that we gave you when you apply to our school that you use to apply for your visa. We have some resources listed here that we hope that you can utilize. I talked about Freeman Career Center. This is their link and you can visit them in person. They have many resources if you're interested in working. Or some students may even go there because they're studying a major and they don't know, well, if I'm doing this major, I don't know what kind of jobs can I get in the future. So go visit them and schedule an appointment with one of their advisors. They have many workshops related to careers and jobs and employment. Study in the States when you're bored and don't have anything to do for your classes, don't have any homework. This is a good website that has a lot of information regarding F1 students and work and employment. USCIS. This is where you get forms for different types of services that they process. And then we have our own website where you have all the forms available to you. We're going to be sending you a copy of the presentation. So if you didn't get a chance to take a screenshot, you can look at the email. Probably we'll send it to you by the end of this week. And then we're the resource that you could always come to us. If you have a question that you're not sure, it's better to ask. You may think it's an easy, simple question, but if you have it, it's better to ask. So again, my name is Rosa Villegas. All of you are assigned to an advisor based on your last name. I'm currently working with students from last name A through J. And because Ms. Kathy Shen is out of the office, I'm also helping students with the last name X, Y, and Z. Michael Jones is helping and supporting students K through W, and this is based on your last name. Again, Ms. Kathy is currently out of the office, but both of us are here to support and help all of you. So don't worry about it. Just send us your requests, send us your questions. We're here to help. And Ms. Jenny usually answers the ISO email, so she'll direct your questions to us if she cannot answer. So don't worry, we are here to support and help you. Hopefully all of you have already visited our office or know where we are. Our phone number, if you ever need to reach out, you can visit us in D204. We have snacks sometimes, and you can come and just say hello. We're here to for you. Our office hours are Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. Our email, you can send general questions. If you have a request and you forgot my email, you can just send it to ISO and we will get it. And then make sure you visit our website because we have a lot of information. We have our events, our workshops listed in there. So you always have information at your hands. This concludes my presentation. If you have questions, make sure you raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat if you don't want to ask in public.
Okay, so someone asked, when will the international student make it to come to the ISC office in person?
Oh, you can come anytime to visit us. Our office is open. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. Any other questions?